All eyes are watching, and we've got to go out there and perform and prove what we can do. How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at last night's Champions League games. We're also going to take a look at Arsenal because Matteo Guendouzi has said that he's going to work hard to try and get another opportunity at Arsenal.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So before we get started with today's show, it's another episode of Super 6 Hold the L. And I don't even know where to start with this one. Just watch this clip and then we will discuss it after. You only have to look at what we've done over the Premier League era and even before that to sum up why you shouldn't even be in this debate, Flav. Arsene Wenger, on his own, as manager of Arsenal, has won 475 Premier League games. 476. Spurs as a club in the Premier League era have won 475. You're not even bigger than Arsene Wenger, let alone Arsenal. So there we go. What on earth do I say about that? How on earth are Tottenham trying to get themselves involved in this conversation? Now let me make this clear. This is not who should be in the top 4 at the moment or anything. This is about Premier League all time. Since the Premier League was formed, all time, the top 4 teams in Premier League history. Now, I've got a lot of time for Flav, but please, why on earth are you putting Tottenham in this conversation? You have less victories in the Premier League than Arsene Wenger. You're not even bigger than him, let alone Arsenal. You've never won a Premier League title. Honestly, how can you be involved in this conversation? Leicester and Blackburn have more right to be in this conversation than Spurs. Absolutely staggering. But listen, make your own mind up. Links in the description. Go over and watch the full video and then jump into the comments section and let me know what you think. Do Spurs warrant being in the top 4 all-time Premier League team? I can't actually believe I'm saying that. I'm being serious. Get yourself over. Links in the description. I will go over during the course of the day and I will have a look at some of your comments. And I'm telling you, please, 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 I better not see anybody else that actually agrees with it. And don't just do it because you want to try and wind me up. Be serious. They don't deserve to be in that conversation. Absolutely no chance. Get yourself over to the community tab as well and make sure you vote on it. And yeah, like I said, links are in the description. That is this week's Super 6 Hold the L. Only one person's holding the L. I'm sorry. But listen, let's get into today's show. And of course, we had Champions League football last night. Manchester City and Real Madrid were in action. And both sides were able to navigate their way through. Manchester City, very, very comfortable for them. And when hasn't it been throughout the majority of this season? But Mönchengladbach, the tie was already over, to be fair. And any possibility of a massive turnaround was, extinguished within the space of 15 minutes. And Kevin De Bruyne, in particular, his goal, what a goal. And it just, was a very comfortable one for Manchester City. They are most definitely one of the favourites for the Champions League. I think they're getting to that position now in the Premier League where they're nearly there. They've nearly won it. I think they need 14 more points. And then I think that what you'll see is Pep Guardiola, bringing players out for the Premier League games and saving everybody for the Champions League games. If you look at some of the most recent Premier League games, he's already been doing it. So yeah, it's Needs must, because that's the big trophy for Manchester City. That's what they ultimately want to win. That is ultimately what the owners want. And the reason why Pep Guardiola is there, is to try and deliver it. And whether he can or not remains to be seen. Because they always seem to fall short when it comes to the Champions League. But this year, they've got a very, very good opportunity. And just depends whether they may meet Bayern Munich on the way. Because that could be one team that will stop them. But yeah, so far so good for them. Real Madrid as well. They're comfortably through. And, they had a decent first leg score. They were 1-0 up from that. But, going back to this one, very comfortable. Sergio Ramos got himself on the score sheet. Benzema as well. But then, Benzema's, goal scoring record at Real Madrid is just absolutely staggering when you think about it. And he's got to be up there with one of the best strikers and most consistent over quite a few years now. But yeah, Real Madrid, despite their up and down season, shall we say, and not going that great in La Liga, there's something about this competition with them. They've won it more than anybody. And I know they haven't got the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo that did all those amazing things that they did before. But there's something about Zinedine Zidane, the manager of Real Madrid. And it remains to be seen. I think that they will have a lot tougher tests along their way. And with all due respect, I don't think a lot of sides that face them would feel too daunted by the prospect of playing them. A Manchester City, a Bayern Munich, they wouldn't look at Real Madrid as being, a difficult tie. They would say, okay, you're going to have to work hard to get through, but they'll feel that they can. So interesting to see what happens in the draw, but there's still plenty more games to go before we find out who the teams in the hat are, or pots, whatever you want to call it. Don't do it in hats today, they do it in little pots and they struggle to open them. But yeah, that was the Champions League, and some very interesting games in there. Now, last story, interesting one, and it's about Matteo Guendouzi. And he done a interview over the course of the week, and he's spoken in great length about various things, his career in general and his time at Arsenal. Not just the present time with Mikel Arteta and everything else, but also under Unai Emery, and he had high praise of him. And when I heard this interview was coming out, I just sat there like, oh no, he's going to say something that's, just the final nail in his coffin for his career at Arsenal. Is done. But it's quite surprising, to be fair, the interview that I've seen. And he says that he's focused on his season at Hertha Berlin. He says, we will sit down with my entourage and people at the club to discuss the future. This summer will be a decisive moment. I belong to Arsenal for another year. From the moment that I am playing for Arsenal, I will give everything for the club, the fans, the team and the staff. I will work hard for the shirt as I always have done. Now, of course, his contract does expire next season, and I suppose the situation for Arsenal is very simple. Do you give him another opportunity? Does he come back and apologise? Can he build bridges with Mikel Arteta? And will all be forgiven? And then the other side of it is that if we don't want him and he hasn't apologised and you can't, build those bridges, you need to get rid of him because he's got a year left. And we're not going to get what we probably should, to be fair, but there's justified reason for that. A lot of teams will probably look at the fact that he's been a bit of a problem, and that's something that's followed him around throughout his career already. And for such a young lad, 21 years old, and he's just seeming to have all these little issues follow him around. That would be a concern. But then a lot of clubs will probably think that maybe they can get the best out of him and that he will grow up and everything else. And then there's also the situation of a year. Teams ain't going to go and pay, you know, silly money for somebody that's only got 12 months left. And also, if Arsenal do want to get rid, they've got the, you know, upper hand in that sense because they know Arsenal just want to get rid. So it's interesting. I don't know where I sit with it. He's got talent, trust me. Could he get into this Arsenal side and could he play next to a Thomas Partey all day long? He could. He's got bags of talent, but it's his attitude. If he doesn't change that, then I think the right thing to do is move him on. But very interesting, and we will see what happens. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. Like I said a little bit earlier on, get yourself over to the Super 6 Hold the L. Links in the description. Unbelievable. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.